Wasabi Gangsters, it's me, Chance, here to talk to you about books. And I have a sugar-free A&W root beer, because who doesn't like a good root beer on a Thursday evening? And so, I'm here to discuss reading. What did I read this week? I read Empire of the Damned. I am roughly 50% of the way through this bad boy. We are really, okay, this is the sequel in the Empire of the Vampire Trilogy. Empire of the Dawn, I think, just released or is about to release. I'm going to the book signing on November 8th or 7th? I don't know, next Saturday. And I think Jay Kristoff and Daniel Green are there. I know I've talked about this every week, but I'm trying to catch up before then, so I have about halfway to go. And what we're seeing in Empire of the Damned is a far more brutal enemy than I think we really expected in the first book. I knew they were evil. We kind of like see glimpses into them in book one, but book two, we're really starting to see more of these vampires, more of the villainy that they have. So we're getting a better idea of exactly what our hero needs to do and why. And it's slowly kind of pulling apart. And I say hero. It's a vampire hunter who's got his gray areas for sure. But this one is absolutely brutal. I cannot state that enough. It's very brutal. If you just talk about the horror of being out of control of your own will and your own destiny and your own being, really, we see a lot of that in here, and just like the looming fear of that on the horizon. If it's coming for you, if you're in a position where you that's even out of your control, the fate of that. It's a wild story. I really am excited to see how this one wraps up with Empire of the Dawn, and getting into this one has really helped immerse me into that world of Empire of the Vampire. Loving it so far. Absolutely loving it. Here you see a pickup of Dust of Dreams, the mass market paperback of this bad boy. That's a little book haul for you. Okay. Excited to get into this. I'm probably going to do Tales of the Sun Eater Volume 4 before I start this. Might even do Shadows Upon Time, depending. Both of those books are bad boys, like big bad boys. We're talking almost 400,000 words, right? So almost 400,000 words of each of them. I'm going to have to pick carefully. I think I'll be able to read Christopher Rocchio a bit faster, mostly just because we're supposed to be, actually I hear there's some new things in this one, but seeing through Hadrian Marlowe's eyes, generally, I feel like will be a little easier for me to read through because we're following one POV, I think. And with Dust of Dreams, we're going to see a Malazan scale of POVs, which might be hundreds. So that'll be a little bit longer of a read. And then I also picked up, because Daw has the Disquiet God hardcovers back in stock. So we're actually in stock for the first time, because we had the Bane hardcovers that were available. I don't know if they're actually still available. In hindsight, I do wish I got a Bane hardcover of this one, simply because it's just a really cool thing to have. And I might have missed the boat on that. But I really wanted to get to finish the collection of my Daw Sun Eater books, so I have the signed paperback over there, but I got the hardback, and I'm looking forward to finishing my broken binding editions of those, and then eventually, hopefully, get on the Kickstarter for those diamond editions, because obviously I'm a super freaking Sun Eater fan, and here we are. It's just what it is. I just get a bunch of books. So that is the reading updates, guys. No movement on Adie Larue yet. I'm going to move on that. I'm going to move on it. I swear. I'm going to move on Adie, the book, The Invisible Life of Adie Larue. I'm going to move it. I'm going to move on it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to read it. I'm going to listen to it at least, at the very least. So I'm going to get some more of that done this next week. This past week, now let's talk about what was really going on. So last week I sent out my newsletter. It's on my Patreon. You guys can go on ChanceDillonAuthor.com. All those links are in the description below. My newsletter has the first 4 chapters of Tears of the Fallen, if you haven't read it. It also has the Blood Rebellion short story, but also every week I put out where I'm at with my editing. So you kind of get a deeper dive in terms of just these videos. Because I usually put a direct word count exactly where I'm at, so you guys can see how the process is going. And I kind of elaborate more on some of the writing things that have to be done. And in this instance, we're working with Dave Butler, my editor, the editor of Disquiet Gods and the editor of Shadows Upon Time. He is the developmental editor on my project, and we had a goal to get down to 150,000 words or some odd just from cutting, but I do also use a copy editor, so I give myself a little leeway in these rounds. So we're about 191K on this pass. But last week I was to go back to my newsletter, I was at chapter 16 of 44 done on my newsletter. over the last 7 days, I got done with it. I literally just finished it before I sat down or stood up to record this for you guys. I put out my newsletter. Yeah, we are done with all 44 chapters plus the before and after. And I will be going back tomorrow to refine one last scene that was a part of the developmental edit that I had put down on paper, the new scene. And then laying in bed last night, I sort of had not an epiphany, but an idea of sort of what I wanted to see come out of that scene, some more things that can probably happen and create a little bit more context to just more appropriately, simply because it is a new scene and just sort of like sits in my head and eats at me a little bit because it came out of nowhere, even in my thought. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to do that tomorrow before I send it back to Dave. And then I have to go through the story so far situation. I'll probably do that. I'll probably just send it to Dave, and then I'll work on the story so far on my own. And then, through copy edits, clean it up and make it a little bit more precise. But yeah, I'm going to go through and do that this week. So that's really all the book 2, Mercy Heals the Fate stuff going on. Mercy, Tears of the Fallen. I have to shoot an email over to Jordan. I am very curious as to I'm waiting on narrator samples as of now. There's a long queue. It's just sort of how that business works. So be patient. I'm doing my best over here. With the audiobook for Tears of the Fallen will hopefully be out and done before Mercy Heals the Fate. I suspect it will based on the timeline I got initially. But I don't want to make any promises, of course. I can't. I don't exactly know. But yeah, I'm waiting on the samples still of the narrators that we're looking at for the Mercy series, for all 4 audiobooks. I did, as I was sitting up and finishing all the 44 chapters here, I sort of had 4 or 5 short story ideas that I want to plug into an anthology between books 2 and 3. Now, I may plug into one of those over this next couple week period while Dave works at the second pass of Mercy Heals the Fate. I also have another contemporary project that I started. I have about 2,000 or 3,000 words in there, and I kind of want to get into it a little bit more, dive into it because it's a story that's sort of just calling me to write it. It's going to be shorter than a regular fantasy book. It'll probably be close total to about 100,000 words. I think I'm going to put for the final version. So we'll see where that goes. But for the most part, book 3 of Mercy is going to be starting. I have 13,000 words of Mercy, the 3rd volume. I'm not going to tell you the name of it. Almost did right there. Wow. And I will be going back into that as soon as book 2 is released, or maybe even the advanced copies are out there. But I really want to use this time as book 2 sort of not sitting on the shelf, but it's with Dave, to really develop either this anthology, this 5 short stories that I'm going to put into a short book for people to read, and all over on Patreon for free. I'm going to put the short stories for free as I write them up on my Patreon, so go follow me over there. But I will put them into a collection that I will offer on Amazon as well, because I think that it'll be nice to just be out there for people to see as a part of the series. So I think that it's going to be a pretty crucial thing between books 2 and 3. I don't know. I have to decide. I have to obviously write it and see. I'm a pantser, so it sort of just works that way. I'm going to sit down and have the very general concepts for the story to unfold, and we'll see how that goes. But I'm very excited to get into that if I do the anthology. If I do the other contemporary story, I'm also very excited about that. Either way, I'm just going to sort of sit down and kind of see where the mouse pad takes me. I also got a new laptop, which I'm really freaking stoked about, and I downloaded some video games on that puppy. Haven't really been able to dive into them, but I have a couple buddies that we might get like an hour or two in the next couple weeks at some point. It's like really hard to find time for it, but it's an old pastime. It's been years really since I really played any, so it'll be fun to hang out with some old buddies from my hometown. Being that we all live in separate places, so it's kind of a fun thing for us to do. So I may do that in the next couple weeks. We'll see. I'll update you guys as I get it. Battlefield 6, I think it looks cool, looks fun. So might get into that a little bit, and then at some point we'll see down the line how things go if I ever show you guys that stuff, but probably not. I like just having that time for myself and my friends for the most part when I do it. So other than that, guys, I have no other updates with Tears of the Fallen. Things are great right now. Things are slowly and steadily building. We had I'm just really looking forward to Mercy Seals of Fate coming out. I'm really looking forward to this audiobook coming out. The artwork stuff, being that I was so, like, I dove 100% into the editing process. I was sort of, like, lacking on communication this week, just generally, social media and otherwise, and posting and so on. So I will probably be diving more into my emails and things like that and texts and everything as this next week unfolds, because I do have to finish lining things up with the artists that I have working on this secret project for Mercy. And then I have to finish the art direction for 2 different pieces to finish up for Mercy Seals of Fate. So, in fact, I'm going to shoot a message after this to one of the artists, Robert Chotia. So, guys, that's it. That's it for this week. I'm going to go record my 90-second clip that I do for my books every week, and that's it. That's all you guys get this week. 10 minutes. That's pretty awesome. I got some new hats this week too. I don't know if you guys saw last week's, but I got some new hats. So there's that. All right. You guys always make this weird at the end. You know that, right? It's not me. I mean, I could think extreme ownership, like it's all you. It's all you guys. So all your fault. All right. You guys didn't need to see that. Have a nice weekend.